start us off with a little story today. It was 2020. I have a White Claw in one hand, a chocolate bar in the other. I haven't showered in about 4 days, and I'm pretty sure I'm not wearing pants. I know, right? But this was me at the deepest depression I had ever been in. And I know what you're all thinking. Jen, it was 2020. None of us were wearing pants. And you're not wrong. But for me, this just hit different. See, the pain and the loneliness that I was feeling wasn't so much from the forced isolation that we were all going through that year, but from the broken heart of having yet another relationship blow up in my face. So as I'm downing my 7th White Claw for the day and I'm Googling how to win my ex back, I come across a video on attachment styles. There, a woman named Thais Gibson is detailing with so much accuracy everything I had ever done in all of my relationships. I'm not kidding you when I thought that she had installed cameras in my house or something, because the way she was describing it was so on point. But that's because she was describing what it's like to have a disorganized attachment style. And apparently, I am the poster child of disorganized attachment. This revelation, though, it made me spiral down the rabbit hole of attachment theory. I dove headfirst into finding anything I could about this. First, I learned that John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth are the 2 psychologists who developed this theory, and that it describes how humans develop emotional bonds starting from infancy. This theory, it suggests that the nature of the relationships we form early in life, particularly with our primary caregivers, plays a critical role in influencing our adult relationships. Everything I just kept learning was making so much sense, and it was like something in my life just finally started to click. I loved attachment theory so much that I enrolled in psychology courses here at Mission College just so I could absorb as much information as possible. But my passion, it didn't stop with college. I also went on to get certificates to coach about it because I am convinced that this has the potential to revolutionize our relationships. And it is my deepest belief that the fundamental aspect of our humanity are happy and fulfilling relationships. See, as a relationship coach, when I start talking to my clients about attachment theory and how it can heal their relationships, I kind of get these really confused looks as they're trying to figure out, well, which style is which and what do they all mean? And then if I start waxing poetic to them about neural pathways and the limbic system and how they work together to form our memories and our emotions, and that's why we need to be talking about attachment theory. Exactly, I just get more blank stares. See, the thing is, not everyone is a psychology nerd like I am. They just wanted what I wanted all those years ago, to figure out, why do our relationships keep failing? So to make this a little bit more fun and engaging for you today, I want to explain attachment styles in the form of dances. And I love doing this because I think it can help us to understand what's going on. But first, let me talk about the 4 main attachment styles. So we have secure, and then we have the 3 insecure attachment styles. These are anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. But I want to start us off with the one that we all want to master, the secure attachment, or as I like to call it, the secure waltz. So now I want you to picture a waltz, graceful and balanced and harmonious. People with this attachment style are comfortable with closeness and independence in relationships. See, they're good at reading their partner's cues, so if any missteps happen, which often happens a lot in both dancing and relationships, they're able to respond warmly. This is where partners, they both move in sync and they're supporting each other and they're comfortable with the ebb and flow of the relationship. It's beautiful, isn't it? But then we have the insecure attachment styles, and I'll start with the anxious attachment, the salsa of uncertainty. So now I want you to visualize a salsa, okay? It's a dance, vibrant and intense, where one partner, they can't kind of seem to keep to the beat because they keep checking their partner's face for approval. These dancers, they crave closeness so much that they become clingy or needy because of it. It's a dance where one person is trying way too hard to keep in step, and they fear losing their partner if they mess up. You may be anxiously dancing the salsa of uncertainty yourself if you find that most of your thoughts revolve around your partner and what they're doing, and not so much on yourself. But then, on the opposite end of anxious, we have the avoidant attachment style, or the solo tango. So now I want you to visualize a tango, typically a duet of passion and precision, right? But there's a twist. One of the dancers seems to always be dancing alone. This dancer moves with confidence and grace, and they embody this self-sufficiency that everyone on the dance floor seems to admire. But beneath the surface, there's a deep fear of vulnerability. And that causes a deliberate choice to keep any partner at arm's length. You may be dancing the solo tango if you prefer to avoid your partner instead of expressing and communicating what you need to them. And lastly, we have the fun one, the disorganized attachment, or the pendulum swing dance, okay? So this one's fun. I want you to imagine a swing dance, kind of like a little Charleston. You can get moving if you want to yourself. And this is where one of the partners, they keep shifting on their other partner. They keep shifting their tempos without warning, but they get frustrated at their partner when they don't keep up. This dancer has a mix of anxious and avoidant tendencies, often swinging from one to the other. This erratic dance style, it creates this push-pull dynamic in relationships where the desire for intimacy battles the fear of vulnerability. Out of these 4 attachment styles, I have learned that I have been doing the disorganized dance for most of my life. So in the beginning, I thought that identifying this style would be enough, and then I would be healed. Yay! So when a cute new guy asked me out, I was all about it, and I was like, yes, let's do this. But the day of the date came around, and I got scared. So I canceled on him. However, I immediately regretted that decision, and so I made up some excuse, and I wrote back to him, and I said, okay, actually, can we do this other date instead? And I ended up having a great time with him. But can you see the pattern starting to merge? This cute new guy and I, we got along so well that after a couple of months, I was the one pushing for us to define the relationship, make it exclusive. And then what happened? Panic set in, I got scared again, and so I broke up with him. And you see the push-pull dynamic happening here. The excitement and desire drawing you in to be followed by an immediate, almost knee-jerk reaction to flee. This is what it's like living with a disorganized attachment style. And honestly, my deepest apologies to anyone out there right now that has had to deal and be on the opposite end of this behavior. I assure you, it is not a choice. We do not want to be this way at all. It is as instinctual as if I were to just throw this at you right now and you ducked. It's like that. But when I realized that my relationship patterns were happening again, I was like, come on, why is this happening? Why do our early attachments dictate our adult relationships so intensely? And that's when I learned that recent research offers a fascinating glimpse into the brain's inner workings, revealing that our neural pathways, which are the bits of the brain that are responsible for our behavior and habits, they're deeply intertwined with our early attachment experiences. It turns out those first emotional blueprints laid down by our primary caregivers, they don't just influence us. They literally sculpt the very pathways through which we love, trust, and connect as adults. What this means is if as a child you were labeled with words like sensitive or stupid or worthless, those labels, they don't just vanish. They're not just bad memories. They're etched into our minds. So when we start dating that cute new guy again, all of those pathways, they reactivate, convincing us that we're still that oversensitive or worthless child. This is the crux of why we find ourselves caught in a loop, replaying the same relationship dynamics over and over again. It's not just habit. It's wired into us, compelling us to dance to a familiar but unhelpful rhythm with each new partner. But once I understood the roots of our relationship dances, my next question to myself was, okay, great, but how do we change the styles? How do we rewire these deeply ingrained patterns to foster healthier, more fulfilling relationships? And I learned that there is more and more research coming out about neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability basically to reorganize itself, forming new neural pathways. The pioneering work of Norman Doidge has popularized this concept of neuroplasticity, suggesting that the brain is not in some fixed state like we think it is. This research is vital in understanding how attachment styles that were developed in childhood are not permanent and can be modified. So how do we do this? How do we modify our attachment styles and heal our relationships? It's a great question. This is how. We become the caregivers for ourselves that we needed growing up. We create new neural pathways by showing ourselves the love, compassion, and consistency we needed as a child. Now, I'm going to show you how this looks and do a little exercise with you that I typically do with my clients. And so what I would love for us all to do right here is take a big, deep breath, because I know I need one right now, and because sometimes childhood stuff can be hard to deal with. And now I want you to think back to a time in your childhood when you made a mistake and someone in your life responded to you in a hurtful way. For me, this was a time when I spilled Hawaiian punch all over the living room couch. It was an absolute disaster. And maybe for you, it was a time when you failed a test or when you forgot to clean your room. Now, at this moment, how did they treat you? Did they say mean things to you and make you feel like you were a complete disappointment or a waste of space? Me, I was yelled at. I heard things like, ugh, Jenny, why do you always do this? Why are you so difficult? Why are you so annoying? And those words, they created in me the label that I am annoying and difficult. And I often still feel that way in relationships. And that makes me want to run and hide, just like it did in childhood. But what was it for you? What mean and unkind thing did someone in your life say to you that created this label that you still carry around today? Now, these are just a few examples of some of the labels that my clients have shared with me over the years. But I want you to know that there is no right or wrong answer here. The word that came up for you during this exercise is the right one for you. Now that we have that label, we're going to do something with it. And we're going to take these labels, or these neural pathways, if you will, and we're going to create new labels to replace these outdated ones. So while you're still visualizing your childhood memory, I want you to think about what would you have needed to hear as a child instead. See, when I spilled my drink and my family was belittling me and yelling at me, what I needed to hear at that time was, that's okay, Jenny. Mistakes happen. It's no big deal. If I had heard that as a child, I would have felt cherished and lovable. And those are much better beliefs to be bringing into a relationship, aren't they? See, these are the slow and steady ways that we modify our attachment styles. So now when I'm on a date and I knock my glass of wine over, which honestly happens way more times than you would think is humanly possible, but now in those moments I don't have to repeat my childhood. I get to stop and take a beat, and I get to say to myself, it's okay. Mistakes happen. Everyone does this. And this is how you become the caregiver for yourself that you needed as a child. This self-compassion is what we need to heal our attachment styles and rewire our relationship patterns. Slowly but surely doing this will begin to rewire how we react in relationships. If you're anxiously dancing the salsa of uncertainty, you'll shift from obsessively wondering, why are they doing this? To securely asking yourself, is this what I want? Or if you're avoiding your partner while doing the solo tango, you'll find safety and strength in communicating your needs. Or, like me, if you're doing the disorganized dance and you're going to learn that spilling your wine in front of your partner, it doesn't make you annoying. In fact, you might even think it's kind of adorable. That push-pull dynamic that keeps popping up in your relationship, it will get easier as you learn to navigate those scary feelings. It's through these moments of compassion and understanding that we start to align our steps with the smooth waltz, a dance that embodies grace and trust and connection. As this dance of life continues with its ever-changing rhythms and steps, I have come to realize something really important. It is okay and natural to want companionship, so long as we understand and value our own self-worth through the journey. See, it's not about needing a dance partner, it's about getting to choose one. And now when I look back at that moment, picturing my sad, disheveled, pantless self chugging that White Claw, there's no way I would have ever thought I would have a healthy and secure relationship, let alone coaching about them or getting to stand here and talk to you all about them today. And yet here we are. I am now in the happiest and healthiest relationship I have ever been in. In fact, we just recently got married. And thank you. And yes, it is to the cute new guy that I canceled on. See, I am just so grateful that he had the patience to handle my disorganized dance before I mastered the smooth waltz. And what this journey has shown me is that our early attachment experiences, they don't have to hold us back from what we want in life. Through the process of identifying and modifying our attachment styles, we can break free of the patterns that keep us stuck in the rhythm of unhealthy relationships. Is it going to be easy? Nope. Not at all. But it's a bit like learning a new dance. You know, at first the steps may feel awkward and familiar, and you're probably going to think you look really silly. I know I do right now. And, you know, you're probably going to want to give up. I did, more times than you can count. But through practice and determination, we find our new rhythm, knowing that every step brings us closer to the relationships that we not only desire, but that we truly deserve. Thank you.